The reasons for Pixar's success are plentiful. The studio has an uncanny eye for what children and their parents actually want to see. But there's one hallmark quality that shouldn't be underestimated, and that's Pixar's terrific eye for casting. Voice acting isn't written about enough, but it's an absolutely crucial part of selling the reality of the story on screen, and Pixar's approach has paid off in spades countless times.
Please let me in.
No.
John Ratzenberger as Ham in Toy Story.
This is it, Spuds. I'm sure there's not another piggy bank. I mean, what are the odds?
Former Cheers regular Ratzenberger instantly became Pixar's lucky charm after Toy Story. He's voiced a character in every one of the studio's movies, but he's never had a better showcase than Ham, the piggy bank in the Toy Story franchise, and his turn the first movie is his best. He's the sort of smartass of the group.
Excuse me, ladies. Does anyone know where we might find the Owl of Al's Toy Barn?
Billy Crystal as Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc.
Take that, Wazowski.
Are you delirious? I beat you.
Get your eye checked.
Your love for eyeball on legs Mike Wazowski in Monsters, Inc. might vary depending on your tolerance for Billy Crystal. For some, he's irritating, but for others, he's one of Pixar's most memorable comic creations.
Because of you, I am now stuck in this frozen wasteland.
Crystal plays his part of one of the company's best duos, letting his stand-up talents loose while making sure that he's still a distinct and cohesive character. Michael Keaton as Ken in Toy Story 3.
Barbie, come with me. Live in my dream house. I know it's crazy. I know we've just met. Aw, heck. But when I look at you, I feel like we were made for each other.
You can attribute the Keaton comeback to Spotlight, or to Birdman, or to the other guys, but in reality, it kicked off with his killer comedy turn in the third Toy Story as Ken, the destined partner of Barbie. Keaton makes him as vain as he is handsome, and sprinkles in a little creepiness when he turns out to be in Lotso's employ, but there's a lovely note of loneliness that makes us forgive him when the time comes. Paul Newman as Doc Hudson in Cars. The Cars movies are generally and correctly held to be Pixar's least satisfying features, but if they brought anything good into the world, it's a lovely performance from Paul Newman.
Sheriff, why don't you go down and get yourself a quart of oil that flows? On me.
The final big screen turn from one of the greatest actors we ever had. A weary old doctor, and a 1951 Hudson Hornet who's a sort of de facto leader of the Radiator Springs community. Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone in The Incredibles. Few actors have more recognizable voices than Samuel L. Jackson, so it was almost inevitable that Pixar would make use of him at some point. The studio did so excellently.
Again, he is freaking. What the?
He doesn't pop up as Frozone, Mr. Incredible's best pal, as much as we might like, but he's a joy whenever he does appear. Whether lamenting the dullness of middle-aged family life, back in action in his sleek figure skater look, or squabbling with his wife over his superheroics.
Where is my super suit?
Craig T. Nelson as Mr. Incredible in The Incredibles. The cuddly star of Coach might not sound like obvious casting as a superhero, but The Incredibles was another reminder of how the studio's policy of often eschewing big names can pay off.
Wait a minute. You're saying what? I'm messy?
Nelson's utterly convincing in his superheroic prime, like the Superman you never knew you wanted, but he's just as good as a slump-shouldered family man. Ed Asner as Carl Fredricksen in Up. He might look a little more like an older Martin Scorsese than the actor who played him, but it's impossible to imagine the elderly hero of Up being brought to life better than by Asner.
Every night it sneaks in my yard and gobbles my poor azaleas.
The veteran Mary Tyler Moore Show star and 7-time Emmy winner only enters the scene after the film's already made you cry like a baby in its famous opening montage. Sarah Vowell as Violet in The Incredibles. The voice casting for these movies often went to unexpected talent, but none as unexpected as director Brad Bird's choice to cast Vowell, a writer and regular This American Life contributor with little acting experience, as the teen daughter of the superheroic family.
I thought it was best to just let you sleep. 17 hours?
Vowell's quirky tones perfectly captures the kind of girl who wishes she could fade into the background. John Goodman as Solly in Monsters, Inc. He can play brash and he can play villainous, but there's an intrinsic warmth to Goodman's voice that served him well use in Monsters, Inc. as the bear-like Solly.
You can train monsters like this all you want, but you can't change who you are. We need to stop trying.
The top scarer in the titular company. He's clearly soft-hearted from the beginning, but whatever fierce exterior he might have is stripped away utterly by the little human Boo, bringing out something sweet and parental in the actor's voice. Bob Peterson as Doug in Up. Peterson's been lending voices to Pixar movies since the early days, but his finest moment as an actor is certainly Doug, the talking dog in Up.
Have you seen a bird? I want to find one, and I've been on this scent. I'm a great tracker. Did I mention that?
The animal's caller lets him vocalize his every thought, and the endlessly enthusiastic, truly dim-witted voice that Peterson gives him couldn't be more perfect personification of the internal monologue of a pup. Frankly, Pixar's casts are always so impressive that we could have gone on much longer than this, but not in this video. That's why we are preparing a sequel video for this never-ending list. If you found this video interesting, feel free to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you in the next one.